Chattanooga, welcome back to what's happening in your neck of the woods, y'all. I'm so excited, y'all. It is a new day and a new season. A fresh anointing is flowing our way. I was getting happy before we came on the air. Let me tell you all, Chattanooga, y'all are bad like that. Y'all are bad like that. You all are coming or have come together in such a big way for this humongous Juneteenth celebration sponsored by the Alton Park Development Corporation and our biggest partners we've got on this show coming soon on June the 14th. We've got the National Action Network. We've got the Chattanooga National Action Network. We have the Community Arts Summit. We have the Tennessee Democracy Network. We have Nuga Vision. Inasha Kilgore putting together the baddest gospel show in the century. We've got Encore Entertainment. We have, oh my God, we have so many folks. We have the dancers coming out. They're going to do some praise dancing, and then we're going to have them doing some African dances and some African poetry, some poems and things like that. It is going to be amazing. And let me not forget all of the festivities that circled around this. We've got the food trucks. We've got Buff Barbecue, Big Truck. We've got Bad Raps. We've got, oh, Lord have mercy. Who is this? We've got Frederick Dogs, Fred Dogs with the nice, delicious Polish sausages. We got the Cold Fusion with Charlie Bell. We've got Kenneth Patton, Kenny Cafe with the funnel cakes. Y'all, we've got the Crab Trap in the house. And don't forget, the Tennessee Democracy Network is doing free fish, y'all. I'm telling you, it is going to be phenomenal. It is going to be a day that you all will never forget. This is Alton Park's second annual, and I'm going to go on the record of saying this, and anybody that want to refute this, it is the official Juneteenth celebration for Chattanooga. So if you don't show up, shame on you. We've invited everybody, and if you haven't got your invitation, we're online. We want you all to come out, and guess what? I got a little treat for you. If you are wanting to be a vendor, it is free for you if you're not selling anything. If you're selling something, that means jewelry, t-shirts, or whatever, it's just $50. $50 for you to contribute and give back to the next Juneteenth celebration. So let me break it down to y'all so y'all won't think it's free and y'all don't think Dr. Woods got this big, I call it, what do you call that big truck that comes with all the money in it somewhere? We don't have one of those trucks. So let me tell you all, we pay for them blocking off with the barricades. We have to pay the barricade company. We have to pay for the insurance and put the city of Chattanooga on the insurance. We have to pay for, what else got to pay for? It's a whole lot. The electric power, any of the props that we have out there, like the stage and all of that, stage lights, you name it. We are responsible. We are on the hook. The police officers, to make sure everybody don't feel some kind of way. You'll feel safe and protected. We have to pay for all of that. So these $50 that y'all are giving and more, if you want to give more, please give more. We're just saying we want to see our people exchange commerce, and we want to see our businesses prosper, giving you an opportunity to get your food trucks and whatever you do every day out on the field where people are going to be and shop and buy. We are powerful people. We are powerful people. Why? Because God made us that way. And the Juneteenth celebration next week, Michael, we're going to have some folks on the show to talk about what Juneteenth really means to them and why it's so important that everybody celebrate it. I'm not going to give it away. Y'all know I'm an African history student, now scholar, under Mr. Bryant. I've been going to the African classes that we teach here every Thursday night at 6:00, which I hope you all will join. The class is only $25 a class. I think if you do all 11 classes, is somewhere like $240. But we want you all to understand that when we get our heads together and we really focus and we stop fighting Focus, don't fight. Lord have mercy, the mountains are moved and the water will part, and we will be able to go anywhere we want to go because it won't be a mountain high enough, it won't be a valley too low, and it won't be any water, any body of water that we can't walk through or walk on. So I just want to invite everybody. And if you want to be a vendor, if you want to sell some stuff, Michael, put on there, where do you need to email us? Just let us know. We're 2 weeks away, y'all. So countdown. We got to get everybody ready. We're inviting you all to not only become a vendor, bring your tents because it's gonna be hot. I've already talked with the weatherman, and the weatherman say it's gonna be 90 degrees outside. So your tents, your lawn chairs, water, whatever you feel like you need to do. We will have the ambulance and the fire department on scene for medical emergencies. We'll have emergency stations set up throughout the field. We are going to be outside, yes, on the ball field. And you all know we have 8 acres, but some of that is still not cleared away. But we're going to have a party outside. We got stuff for the kids to do. We got stuff for the grown people to do, something for the seniors to do. I call it the seasoned folks, and stuff for the young people to do. Y'all, it's going down. And the African American Education and Heritage Museum, woo, it's going to be open all day and free to the public. We're excited about it. Mr. Johnny Holloway, our curator for the museum, is excited about it. And we are excited to tell you that it's going to be open for all of you to come out and enjoy and see how far we have come. We've come a mighty long way. I know you all are kind of upset and, kind of worried about stuff. But let me tell you, God brought us this far, not to leave us. So be encouraged to know that God is with you always, because he said he will never leave you or forsake you. The first will be last and the last will be first. And so I'm just letting you all know we're going to celebrate the freedom of slaves on June the 14th, right here at Chattanooga Civic Center at Mountainside Ball Field from 11 o'clock in the morning all the way to 5 o'clock. I hope we're done by 5 o'clock because, y'all, we got some entertainment. We got some entertainment coming on. And sometimes when the party gets started, you just can't stop because it's so good. But that is our schedule right there. We got it lined up. We've got Anasha Kilgore. You all know him. He is one of the baddest men in gospel music in the city of Chattanooga. He is directing the gospel portion of our event with some amazing gospel music and artists in the city of Chattanooga. I am so excited to have him involved. And I think if you got a church or been doing anything in the city involving the church and gospel music, you all have had a visit with him. Y'all know him. And I'm just excited. I'm very excited that the Community Arts Summit, I love those guys. Oh, P. Callie. He looks like Tupac. I was sharing this with Michael and them before we got on the air. He was at an event here at the Civic Center that they had Thursday, just this past Thursday. He was their DJ. He had on a sharp a tuxedo white jacket with black pants. And then when the song Boots on the Ground came on, he got off that stage and got in the midst of the crowd. And that young brother can move. He got some smooth move. So P. Callie is the DJ and the host of this event. He is amazing. He can dance. He look good. He young. And I ain't going to say nothing else about him because I don't know too much more about him. But I can tell you this. He going to give us a good time because he gave us a good time Thursday night. All good, clean fun. You all, I'm telling you all, this is the celebration of the year. It is the Juneteenth celebration happening on June the 14th. I can't say it enough. That's on a Saturday. So if you all can get here, get your tents up, bring your lawn chairs, your tables, vendors, get in. I'm so happy to say that Encore Entertainment, my son-in-law, Marsha Jeffries, plays for one of their bands, and they're going to be performing also. Man, that's an awesome entertainment company. I talked with Tiffany Adams the other day. They are excited about giving their artists this platform, because guess what, y'all? When you think about Juneteenth, all you should be thinking about is freedom of Black folk and how far we have come. And we should be celebrating this. That's why I'm so glad, Michael, they gave us the holiday, the national holiday, because we deserve it for what all we've done. And I was talking to my dear friend earlier this morning about Juneteenth. You all know Franklin McCauley. That is a very good friend of mine. He's going to be on the show, Michael. He's coming. Not today, but he is going to come on. I think he's listening to us. To Mr. Franklin McCauley, you are the GOAT. You are the GOAT, because Mr. McCauley will stand up in the middle of the crowd, and y'all know he's tall as Big Bird, so you can't miss him. In the midst of all these Black folks, when we are marching or doing any type of protest for civil rights and justice and freedom, you will find Mr. Franklin McCauley in the midst, and his beautiful wife, Teresa, in the midst of that crowd. And he was honored by me and the Alton Park Development Corporation as the first Chattanooga Humanitarian Award honoree, along with others. Mr. Let's see, I can't think. He was on the. He's deceased now. The radio. I gotta go back. My mind getting old, y'all. Y'all know I ain't young as I used to be, but we are so happy to know that it's fighters like him that sit in and host conversations in their home about racial inequalities and bring Black folks and white folks together to try to resolve or dissolve issues that have plagued our country for centuries. And I just want to say to him, I thank you and I appreciate everything that you've done in Chattanooga. And we had a very interesting conversation about the folks on the mountain. Every time you have a conversation with folks, they go, well, you know, those people on the mountain, well, they run the city of Chattanooga, and you can't do nothing if you don't go through them. I had that conversation with him this morning. And one of the things I know is that the people on the mountain, you know, they have the money. Yeah, they have plenty of money. Them some of the wealthiest folks in the world. But I know a few folks on the mountain that know what's going on down here as it relates to Black people, and I can pick up that phone and call them right now. So we can't label all of them as being bad people. So we're going to have that conversation when we bring Mr. McCauley on to talk about racial division, inequality, some of the things that we've endured in this city and come through, and some of the things we are still dealing with in 2025. It is not okay. It is not okay to still have racial division and issues dealing with people and the inhumanity that we are seeing with our police departments, you know, with our businesses, with opportunities. It is not okay. And I had that conversation with him, with people dirtying up Christianity, dirtying up my name and dirtying up Jesus' name and God's name, all for the love of money and greed and jealousy and hatred, all of this stuff. You call yourself a Christian, then we're going to talk about what is a Christian and what is not a Christian. Because we got some folks using the word Christianity, and they are sending people away from this country without due process. In the name of they love the Lord, they are still doing things to people that are immoral and inhumane. Just 2 days ago, as a matter of fact, Thursday night, I'd worked 14 hours in my dental office, so I'm kind of tired. But I had duties here at the Chattanooga Civic Center at Mountainside because there was an event going on, the event I was just talking about earlier. So I left Alton Park, headed back to Cohutta, which is where I live now, and I go through Battlefield Parkway to get home. Okay, I don't get on the highway. I get on Battlefield Parkway. And So it's a 45 miles per hour speed zone. That's the limit. And so I was driving, minding my own business in the slow lane. And I said, oh, there's a Sonic. I'm thirsty. It was about 10:30 at night. This past Thursday, y'all. And I said, let me get over into the turning lane. Let me get over here so I can turn into Sonic. So I got out of the slow lane, crossed over into the fast lane so I could get into the turning lane. Mind you, this is 10:30 at night, so it's not a lot of traffic. It ain't hardly no traffic, right? And then all of a sudden, I saw the blue lights. Woo! And I said, ooh, why is he pulling me over? I said, okay, my insurance is paid up. My license plate is good. Um, I'm not speeding. So why is he pulling me over? This has happened to me before when I lived in Collegedale, Ottawa. So I pull over on into Sonic. This is a true story, y'all. I pulled on over into Sonic parking lot, and he got out. He said, I'm pulling you over because you're going too slow. And I said, I'm going too slow. I said, well, what's the speed limit? It doesn't matter what the speed limit. You're impeding traffic, and you've got to go with the I guess you call the flow of the traffic. You got two cars that was behind you. You were holding them up. He said, and I even got behind you, held me up, and I went around you. I said, well, sir, what is the speed limit? He said, you don't have to be smart about it. I said, well, sir, I worked today 14 hours. I'm a doctor. I just left an event in Alton Park, and I'm just trying to get home. I wasn't breaking the law. And so he said, just wait a minute. He went to his car, came back. He said, well, I'm not giving you a ticket. I said, well, thank you. And he said, but you've got to go with the flow. And what does you being a doctor have to do with me pulling you over? I said, it doesn't have anything to do with you pulling me over. But let me tell you all something. Driving while black, and I had my daughter on the phone. We were already on the phone on the Bluetooth, of course, and my son. And when I got pulled over, I said, the police are pulling me over. Well, why are they pulling you over, Mom? I said, I don't know. I'm about to find out. I had them on the phone. And I reminded them, driving while black is hard in this United States of America. Now, here I am, a civil rights activist, once NAACP president, and now the president of National Action Network, a doctor with many degrees and accolades behind my name, driving in a Mercedes, a black Mercedes-Benz 550, whatever you want to call it. It's one of the big ones. Minding my own business, not breaking the law, but I was pulled over. That was nothing but racial profiling. If there ever was a word as racial profiling, that was racial profiling. You are allowed to go at least 10 miles per hour under the speed limit. So if the speed limit was 40, and he never told me what the speed limit was, and he never asked me for my insurance, because they zap your cars now. They know if you got insurance, they just pull up your VIN number through the little lasers that they have. So he never asked to see that. What he was hoping for, he saw this black woman. I'm just going to give you the scenario because this is what happens to black folk. He was hoping, oh, I got me a black woman. She's driving slow. She must be drunk or high. She's in this Mercedes driving down Battlefield Parkway. She's doing something. I'm going to pull her over. And if you roll down your window, I'm speaking to the young folks now, and anybody that got habits that like to smoke weed and do that kind of stuff. When you roll down your window and they can smell weed or they see an open container, and you may not have the weed in your car, but you may have just left a trap house, whatever they call it, and the weed smell may be in your clothes. Because I've witnessed that from people. They're not smoking, but they've been somewhere where there was a lot of smoke and they smell like smoke, not just weed, but cigarettes too. And you roll down your window when a cop pulls you over. All they got to do is smell weed. Okay? All they got to do is see an open container. And they'll have probable cause to ask you to step out. I may be wrong about that. Y'all civil rights activists, correct me on it. But if they suspect because of a smell or they see a blunt or something in your car, that is probable cause. But there was no probable cause, so he didn't have a reason really to give me a ticket other than he was hoping he could give me a ticket. See, and that's how it starts. And then you step out your car, and then the story goes on from there. I was in Nashville on May the 15th, and I spent a greater bit of time with the families of those who were murdered at the hands of police officers across this country. Trayvon Martin's family, all of them, they were there. And unanimously, all of them, and we agreed too, there was no reason for any of their family members to be dead. There's no reason to unalive a person because you got to pull them over and give them a ticket. Or if you need to arrest them, just arrest them. But there's no reason to unalive a person. So I am convinced that even in 2025, driving while black, walking down the street while black, just being black, you are at risk of being unalive. And it doesn't matter where you come from. Doesn't matter how much money. I told you I'm a doctor. Been a doctor for 35 years. Civil rights activist. You know, leading the charge for civil rights activism. Not just locally, but all across this country. I got the certificates and pins to prove that. You know, from the President of the United States. So we need to teach young people how to act and what to do and what not to do. And I'm going to have that conversation with the chief of police because I want them to participate in an activity with our community. Because just as much as we need to be educated, they need to be educated as well. So I told Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton, when I had an opportunity to speak with him, informing the Chattanooga branch of the National Action Network, don't expect me to be a wilding out type of president. Not in today's time anyway. What we need now is to be focused. Focus, you all. Listen to me. Focus on getting our families in line, getting our lives in line. Stop depending on the government or anybody else and start working on yourselves. If you've got a history, working on clearing that history up. If you don't have a job, getting some training so that you can be in position to get a job. And if that doesn't work for you, heck, become your own business owner. You know, it's called economic empowerment. There is so much you can do. That's the reason why I'm pushing for the Juneteenth celebration to include entrepreneurs, you know, black business owners to show up, bring their goods and products and sell them, exchange of commerce, because we are powerful. We are some of the largest people in the community of America to spend our money. We have proven that with the Target boycott, and now Family Dollar is next. It makes no sense to spend trillions of dollars in this economy and be disrespected. And you know what? I blame that on us. Yeah, I'm going to go there. When I discipline my children, I don't only tell what other people are doing wrong, I'm going to tell you about what you did wrong. What we do wrong, we slipped away, sold all of our property to the first person that come through because we were hard up or whatever you want to call it for money. Sold our neighborhoods away, gave our property away. You can disagree with me or not, but as many people that disagree with me, I got 10,000 people more for every one person that will agree with me. Sold the property away. Let your business go. You know, we were economically thriving in this country. So guess what? As the president of the Chattanooga National Action Network, I spoke to him meaning Reverend Al Sharpton. And I said, we need to be focused on getting our families back in line and taking control of our own destiny, rebuilding our communities, rebuilding our families one by one, regaining the financial strength and wealth that we had by taking control of our own destiny. So people are angry with the president. I'm not mad because you know why? God is in control. If you don't understand what I mean the things that he's doing to black folk and even immigrants is forcing, I know it's forcing me as a person to work harder in the community to get us to be what we call independent. Independent. Because it's through independence you find strength and happiness and joy, and you find life. So if you're not independent, taking control of your own destiny, then you need to have some training. If you can't go to college for whatever reason, pick you up a trade. For 20 years, I taught the trades of dental assistants for the state of Tennessee and the Chattanooga 3rd District Dental Society, moving women from welfare to work. And if you're out there, some of you are my students. I ran into one of my students at the Kinko's the other day. Didn't remember her really, but when she said, Dr. Woods, I'm your student. I was in the class of 2012. I said, oh, hey, but what I'm saying is these women were struggling, not only financially, and they were on welfare. Some of them just had challenges, economic challenges, all kinds of children. It's hard to go to school when you start having children because who's going to keep the babies in the daytime? What are you going to do with your children? How are you going to manage that? You don't have money. You don't have transportation. How are you going to manage that? So I personally wrote my program to deal with those challenges and got it approved through the dentist here. Thank goodness for great dentists of the Chattanooga 3rd Dental Society. I was on that board. And thank goodness for the people at the State Board of Dentistry for reading my curriculum and believing in what I could do. And I did it for 20 years. There are so many folk in this city and have traveled even outside the city now, have jobs and that are financially stable with a trade. And they say, well, Dr. Woods, you're going to do it again? I might. But right now I'm focused on doing the things that I can to help the community beyond dentistry, but definitely keeping myself in a position where I can help. A lot of time people want to help, and it's not just about money. Everybody think you got to have money to help somebody. No, you don't. You need it sometimes. Definitely it's necessary in some situations. But your time, your volunteerism is what I'm saying, exceeds rather any amount of dollars that people can give for a problem. And that's what we have to do, come together as a community and work together. I am not listening to any negative stuff. That's why when I turn on my Facebook or go on the internet and I see or hear people talking negative about each other in the Black community. Now, I'm going to deal with Black folks for a minute. Dealing with Black people, as I told Mr. McCauley, they own McCauley High School. That's the family. In every socioeconomic level, they are poor people that are intelligent. There are poor people that are ignorant. There are middle class Black people that are ignorant, middle class Black people that are intelligent. And then you got wealthy Black folks that are ignorant and wealthy Black folks that are intelligent. So at every economic level, you got your ignorant folks and you got your intelligent folks. So don't box us all in one category. You cannot judge a book by its cover, because I was a Black poor person, but I was that Black intelligent person. I wasn't ignorant. I'm still not ignorant. So you can't outgrow what God has put in you and where you are. So that's what I'm trying to say. Stop being ignorant, no matter what level you're on. Stop being ignorant. Sometimes something is bad about a person, but it's better to be closed mouthed. You ever heard your parents say, if you don't have nothing nice to say about somebody, don't say nothing? That's what we need to do. If it's not nice, and it's true, but it's not nice, quit putting your mouth on people. Stop it. They're already at the low point of their life. Instead, give them some words of encouragement. You just don't know how many people have put their mouths on Dr. Woods that have called me and apologized. Because it's something about that Holy Ghost. It's something about that anointing spirit that if I live my life the way God has given me the power to live my life through him, the light is going to shine. And you cannot deal with the Shekinah glory. You cannot deal with the power that's in me, that's not me. I'm going to say it again. You cannot deal with the power that's in me, that's not me. Chew on that. Chew on that. And one day you're going to catch on to what I just said. So I am here because God has placed me here. And like I told Mr. McCauley, whatever God has for you to do, whether it be through civil rights activism or whatever it is, if it's with God, there is nothing anybody can do to stop that plan. I can't even stop the plan. I had told them they was crazy. They wanted me to be the president of the Chattanooga National Action Network. Do y'all know what I just went through? No. I said no. But then the wise man said, you have to. I'm going to break it down. There are Black people who are doing well, and there's some that are not doing well. But the fear of retribution is real. Meaning that if you are taking care of your families and you are going to work for someone who don't look like you, and they've got your life somewhat, they really don't, but kind of they do, in their hand, they pay you every day. They make sure you have financial security to feed your family and to house your family. It is hard to get those kind of people to step out and fight for freedom. Why? Because they're fear retribution, that they're going to lose the job. And then they're going to be on the street begging like everybody else. So it's hard to do that. So God has blessed me. I'm going to say God has blessed me uniquely. And I don't say that in a braggadocious way. Y'all say, I came up with that word braggadocious. I don't care if y'all don't believe me, but I did. Not in a braggadocious way. I'm saying it a way to bless God. God blessed me in such a way. He took me from where I was, a little project girl, College Hill Court, that they're tearing down now. It says they're going to make it better for everybody. You know, y'all know that's some prime real estate right there on the river. But I was born right there at 612 West 14th Street Court. And my mama was a welfare mother. My dad, my biological father, passed away when I was 1 month old. He served in the Vietnam War and was sprayed with Agent Orange and died. So I was a fatherless child with a welfare mama living in the West Side College Hill Project. Okay? So you know we was not poor, po, P-O. We was poor. But my mom had character, she had morals, and she had me in church every Sunday. That was one thing about my mama that I love. She was a church-going, God-fearing woman with morals and principles and character second to none. And God raised me. God raised me in such a way that he put the right people in my life as a little girl. Because my mom met my father who adopted me at 3 years old. T.L. Woods. That's how I got my name. And he adopted me and raised me as his own. And in that, he moved my mom from the projects to Truett Street in North Chattanooga. And then he bought my mom a home on Barton Avenue. Now we call it was called North Chattanooga, but now it's called the North Shore, on Barton Avenue. You go across Veteran Bridge and you're on Barton Avenue. 614 Barton Avenue. And he raised me there. And I went off to college. I went to James A. Henry Elementary, and then busing started. I was at Normal Park, right there on Mississippi Avenue. And then I went to North Side and then City High. But when I went away to college, I came home and told my mama, I said, Mama, I got accepted in the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. And she was sad because she didn't want to see me leave her. I said, no, Mom, this is going to be an opportunity for me. I filled out my own paperwork. I sent it in. I signed their name. Yes, I did. I signed their name and sent it all off. Went in their little drawers and got their little IRS tax return information, turned it in and signed it off and got accepted. And I went off to this college where I was probably 1%. This was in 1983. And I tell people, college didn't teach me math and science, reading and writing, arithmetic, all that stuff. It taught me how to get along with people. I'm going to repeat that again. College taught me how to get along with people of diverse backgrounds. And that was the most valuable lesson I got from attending the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, was I got to meet and get along with white folk, Japanese folks, Asian, Hispanic. I got to meet and mingle and learn how to communicate with them effectively, which took me on to higher grounds. This was doing some of the most, I would call it, critical time in history for Black people, where Black people weren't really accepted into white institutions. They were trying, but when I applied for dental school, I remember my interview, and I probably told the story before, so I'm sorry for those who've heard it before, but there were about 15 or 20 white folks around the table. And they said, well, Dr. Elenora Woods, Miss Woods, if we decide not to let you in dental school here at the University of Tennessee in Memphis, what you gonna do? And I looked at all those white folks around the table. And I said, well, if you decide not to let me into the dental school here, I'm going to pick up my bag, I'm going to throw it across my shoulders, and I'm going to walk out of here, and I'm going to knock on every dental school door in this country until somebody let me in. And that's the question that they gave me, and that was the answer they wanted to hear. Because I already had a degree, so I could go work as a teacher, work in the lab. I got my degree in biology and chemistry, but I was determined to be a dentist. And God blessed me to do that. It's that determination. So my people, I'm talking about Black folks, you got to have determination and resilience. And when somebody closed the door, God will open 10 more doors. So don't be sad. Don't be sad. That door was closed for a reason. I was sad, Michael, when we went to the county and talked to then Mayor Coppinger. I'm going to tell the story. And I took the board of dentistry, and Michael and all of us went down there, and I gave this powerful PowerPoint presentation about Alton Park Development Corporation and the need for them to help us. We got all this COVID money. The county got $72 million. And if you would just give us $2.5 million, we got this building. We're going to turn it into a civic center, and everybody's going to grow and prosper from it. He loved it. Oh, yes, Elenora, we love it. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I like to tell the truth. Okay. I'm going to get with Tim Kelly, the city mayor, and see if he'll go in half with the county and get you that money. And when Coppinger gave his presentation and he put up there all the folks that asked for COVID money, and he got down to Alton Park, he had $0. We were devastated. And somebody in the audience said, well, Mr. Coppinger, out of all the $72 million that you've given away, you still have $11.2 million. You mean to tell me you couldn't give Alton Park Development Corporation something? And he turned red as a tomato. I'll never forget it. And he stepped out from behind his podium, and he said to all of us in the room with media looking on, I've had a stellar career, and when I make a decision, I don't see color. He said, and when I go home at night, he said, I'm going to sleep good behind it. I'm not going to let one moment in time destroy my career. That's exactly what he said. And so the media swamped me at the end. And I said, and I'll say it again, you can go back and get the tape and listen to it. They asked me, what did I feel about that statement? And I said, well, Mr. Coppinger, I'm glad that you make your decisions and you sleep well at night when you make your decisions, and that you say you don't see color when you make decisions. But for the people that we serve in this community, they don't sleep well at night. They live in war zones with bullets flying over their heads. Some of them don't have a bed to sleep in or a table to sit down and eat food. So while you're sleeping good, and I'm going to say this to everybody that's listening to me now, while you're sleeping good at night, if you're a Christian, and don't use his name in vain, don't use my Lord Jesus Christ, God and Savior, in vain. If you're a real Christian, how can you sleep good at night knowing that there are people that God told us, if you have much, much is required. Take care of those, the least of you, because when you take care of the least of them, you're taking care of me. How can you sleep good at night? Folks on the mountain, knowing you got billions of dollars, and there's one struggling Black organization that God is going to continue to bless because we in the plan, knowing you can help us to have a better community, because we got the plan. 20 years, I moved women from welfare to work because it was God's plan, and I gave myself because much is required of me. God blessed us with this building, 48,000 square feet, 8 acres of land. I'm going to brag on God because God owns it. God owns it, and he took it from somebody to give it to the least of them. He took it from a church located on Broad Street. He let the devil use them. And he took it straight from, they threw it back to the school board because they couldn't do with it to the Black church that was next door to them what they wanted to do, which was to take their building, their church, in the most expensive part of town and give them what everybody considered this building to be a jalopy because the project is across the street. But what is a jalopy to some is worth millions to those that are called the least of them. So when the church decided to back out, the Black church, the white church decided, well, if we can't get their church, I'm going to tell the truth because the truth will set you free. If we can't get their church and we want their church because it's expensive property, then we don't want that school over there called Pineywood Resource Center, across the street from Emma Willer Homes. We just give it back to the school board. We went before the school board, and they decided to give it to that white church. I had to go back before the board because after I read in the paper, they threw it back to the school board. I was the only other bidder. And God blessed us with this building to do his work. So Black folks, there I go, right there. Right there. God blessed us with this building, people. Black folks, white folks, Hispanic folks, to turn this city around and use this as a complex, a compound, for lack of a better word, to educate, to train, to inspire, to lift people up, to make entrepreneur business owners, and to educate the people, and to make our community a better place, and to build families. We've got to stay focused. And that's why I'm not going to beg you for anything because God has all the money. I had one mayor to say, how are you doing this? Not the current mayor, a previous mayor. How are you doing all of this with no money? And our former president, Mr. Calhoun, and I were at that meeting together with him, private meeting. And he said, we don't have any money, but we know a God that has all the money. And as long as God is with us, it doesn't matter who's against us because he's going to supply the desires of our hearts because he said, have the faith the size of the mustard seed, and I will give you the desires of your heart. And when we won the bid by default, I said, now what, God? Now we got this building. It's got a lot of work that need to be done. And he sent the wind called COVID through the world. And out of that COVID money, we didn't get what we asked for initially, but God said, go back and talk to the commissioner. I want you to talk to Miss Smedley. I want you to talk to Miss Jeter, the two women on the commission board. And I set up a meeting with both of them. And I said, I need your help. Can you help me talk to the other commissioners and convince them to vote to give us the money of that COVID money? This is a marginalized community. We're a Black-owned community development corporation. The money is for us. We are in compliance with the state law, the federal law. We're doing everything right. Can you help us convince the commissioners? Because the mayor's already said no. And those two women, that's why they got an award. They got special recognition at our humanitarian award gala 2 years ago, the year before last. Those two women rounded up the Republicans and the Democrats across the aisle. They voted unanimously to give us $450,000 that was needed so bad. We didn't have any heat. We didn't have any air. You know, people thought this building was abandoned. We have created an event hall. We have all kinds of events in it. We have now an African-American Educational Heritage Museum in here that's outstanding. And we teach African history with Professor Bryant, who has 50-something years of experience teaching African history from the cradle to civilization. We have a thrift store. We have a Mercy Dental Clinic in here. The radio station that I'm on right now is housed right here in this building. We have a computer lab that has 12 or 13 computers in it. Okay? We have all kinds of things going on in this building that God has blessed us with. And I want to thank everybody that are using this space to host their events. And you know what? We got it at a price, $600 right now. $600 right now for you to host your event. And we got the acres outside. Yeah, these are some of our humanitarians in the past. 10 years, we celebrated our 10th year anniversary this past year. And these are some of our giants in this city. That's one of the requirements. These are some of the giants in the city that have made it possible for us and you and your children to live life and life more abundantly by giving of themselves and their time and their money. We got 10 years of folks who we've celebrated. John P. Franklin Sr., you know, who's deceased now, but one of the biggest entrepreneurs of this city. John P. Franklin Funeral Home. John Taylor with Taylor Funeral Home. Some of the biggest entrepreneurs in this city and served well in government for this city. We owe you. We're standing on your shoulders. It's because of you and your sacrifices that I have a platform that I can continue doing what God wants us to do. So there's no need for anybody to be nothing but happy. I can't even get in my own way because God will move me out of the picture because his will is going to go forward whether we like it or not. I said, God, what am I going to do with all this? You know, and so we got that $450,000 and was able to make this environment conducive for you to come in and sit and have an event. We had to put new heating and air, all kinds of stuff to upgrade this building to where it is. And we're not finished. We needed $2.5 million. We still needing it. And he sent me a developer way from North Carolina. His name is Dr. Roger Williams. He is the Chief Administrative Officer for Erlanger Health Centers. He's a developer, but that's what he does on the other side. And I'm going to announce it because God says, speak it as if it's happened. Speak it into existence. I believe that. We are going to build some tiny homes on this 8-acre piece of property that we have for veterans. And I'm going to get to the bottom of what happened to all the millions of dollars that they were supposed to build. And I may be speaking too soon because folks will take your dream and ruin it. You turn your dream into a nightmare. But I'm going to be talking to the right folks. I understand this organization out of Atlanta gave a bunch of money, but the land that was purchased out there in Collegedale or Ooltewah or something, whatever the county bought for $16 million, 260 acres of land or whatever, a majority of it couldn't be used to build on. I don't know what they're doing with it now, but they spent $16 million to buy it. And the veterans' homes, the money that was allocated from this company out of Atlanta got pulled back. So we want it. So if you're out there listening, we want it. We want it. We want it. We want it. Because veterans deserve to have a place to live. It kills me and it burdens me to drive around town, even right here on Hooker Road, and see people outside living in the woods, and they look up and say they're a veteran. There is no need for that. That's why the American Legion, which are retired military folks and folks who serve this country honorably, I take great pride in them being a part of Alton Park Development Corporation. They leased 2 suites out of this building at a way below market value. So I always tell people, they say, well, they not paying. I said, listen here. Listen here. God is a provider. I know what market rate is. I know it started about $17 a square foot and go up to about $30 or $40. I know that. You're never making a fool out of Dr. Woods. How can you make a fool out of Dr. Woods when I'm tapped into the wisdom of God? God gives me the vision. He gives me the wisdom. And then he guides my foot or my feet in the direction and path he would have me to go. And if I go the wrong way, he'll redirect me. So he does a lot of redirecting, and that's okay. I want to be redirected. Don't you all want to be redirected if you're going in the wrong direction? You want to be redirected. So it's a lot of redirecting that goes on in Dr. Wood's life. And I'm proud to say that. I thank God his hand is on me, that he hadn't turned his back on me, that he hadn't taken his hands off of me, that he redirects my path when I'm going in the wrong direction, when he bridles my tongue, when he allows me to see evil all around me and not be consumed with it. I thank God for that Shekinah glory, that halo, all that stuff that's around me, and the protection that I have in his bosom. I thank him for that, because when you're helping people and when you're speaking against power, when you're speaking truth to power, and when you're going up against giants, God reminds us in the word that it doesn't matter how big they are. Y'all know that story. Goliath, y'all know that story. He will give you a little pebble, and that pebble will be like a boulder against the giant. You will slay the dragons with a pebble, because it's not the size of the pebble. It's the power in the pebble that allows you to navigate and do whatever you want to do. So guess what? When you see a person who's anointed, you will know it, because they got little pebbles and they're knocking big giants down. That's an anointed person. And I would tell you, I am proud to say that I am chosen and highly favored of God. And everything that you see that's going on in this building, this is holy grounds. And everything that's going on in here, you watch and see when I'm dead and gone, it will still be going on, because this building belongs to God. Y'all got that? It belongs to him. So when you help Alton Park Development Corporation, you are helping the least of them. And God commands us to help the least of them. That's the only thing, Michael and Robin, that's going to matter in life, is what you did for Christ. When you close your eyes and take your last breath, it's not going to be the amount of money you got. There's not going to be 2 men in a truck following a hearse, as our pastor said today, with you to the grave site to bury you. The only thing you're going to have is your name, your character, and what you did for Christ is going to be stored up in heaven. So some people, we got some work to do. Look at those beautiful women of Alpha Kappa Alpha. Latrice Curry, I think you are blessed, and I want to touch you and tell you how blessed you have blessed us. They have a suite here, and they're doing community outreach. I talked to her, spoke to her this morning, and oh yeah, Michael, all of the Greek organization, the Divine Nine, I am inviting you to participate in the Greek Step Off Show at the Juneteenth celebration. If you think you got it, Alpha Kappa Alpha, Delta Sigma Theta, Phi Beta Sigma, Zeta Sigma, Zeta Phi Beta. Let me get it right. Phi Beta Sigma, Zeta, Kappa Alpha Psi, Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, Omega Psi Phi, all of the Divine Nine. I think I called them out. If I missed one, I'm sorry. All of the Divine Nine, you're going to have your moment to shine at the Juneteenth celebration. I need you all to give us a call and register your organization. It's not for any money. It's for show off. I don't know. We might have a prize for the best step. I don't know. We might do that. But we want you all to participate. That's going to be a section of the show where we let and we don't want y'all to take a whole year to get your step out, okay? 5 minutes of fame for your organization to get up there and do you a step show and show the world how great your organization is. And I want to give a shout out to the Divine Nine and the historical Black colleges and universities for what you have done to perpetuate the greatness in the Black community and allowed us to become all the great people that we are, because we were denied entrance into white institutions for a long, long time. In fact, it took lawsuits. And I would tell people I'm a product of affirmative action. It took affirmative action, all of that stuff to allow us to have equal opportunities. I thank those historical Black colleges for being there. We didn't have nowhere else to go and still thriving. I thank the historical Black Divine Nine for being there, even when we were on these predominantly white institutions, for being there to give us the camaraderie that we needed and the study sessions and all that stuff that we did together to get through school. And just the friendship and the bonds that we created that have lasted all throughout our life. I'm still an active member and a life member of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority under the Pi Omega chapter. I got getting there 40 years and I'm about to be a golden. I'm a silver soror right now. But it's those kinds of organizations that allow Black folks, if you want to know how we survived it, first of all, it was God. It was God. And then secondly, we had to have some type of organizations to keep us focused and together. And that's one other reason why we separate Juneteenth. We're celebrating the greatness in our people and all of the accomplishments that we've had despite our past, despite being held in bondage for all those hundreds of years. God never left us and never forsaked us, and he freed us. And now it's up to us to walk in this freedom and grasp the opportunities. And if there's not any opportunities, make some opportunities. Y'all know what I mean by make some opportunities. And that's what we're going to be doing. Y'all come out on June the 14th from 11 to 5 o'clock. Enjoy the African American Museum. Sign up for the African classes. It's $20 a class or $240 for all 11, something like that. Come enjoy that. Bring your food truck, $50. Bring your stores with a booth. Set up a vendor booth. If you're selling something, $50. We want you all here. We're gonna close off the street from Wilson and Hooker and Hooker and what's the other end of the street? Anyway, it's gonna be closed off so we can walk around and enjoy the street without cars coming through. Okay, so it's done. It's done. Hope to see you there. Y'all know today is Saturday. Y'all know how I end my show. Tomorrow is Sunday. You know you have to. You must praise the Lord and give him thanks for all the blessings and great things that he has done for you in your life. And if you can't get into a church, you can always go virtually and watch it from your bed, your kitchen, living room, through the internet. And if you don't have a church home and you just want to figure out where you're going to go, come to my church, Greater Emmanuel Apostolic Church, located at 400 Tunnel Boulevard, where Pastor, oh Lord, oh Warfield, excuse me, Pastor. We just had our little conversation when I left the church before I came over here. Pastor Holloway, oh, he must be talking about me too. Oh, but that's my ex-pastor, Pastor Holloway. Paul Warfield. Lord, I'm gonna get it right. You must be talking about me, Pastor. Pastor Warfield is our senior pastor. Our church starts at 9:30 in the morning with our Sunday school. We feed you in the morning, and then our regular service start at 10:30. We got a fire choir, fire choir. And so you all come out and enjoy and fellowship with us every Sunday. We also have Bible study on Monday and on Wednesday. We're about to do our vacation Bible school. We want you all to join us with that. And I think that's it for now. I'm gonna get on out of here. Nuga Vision, Enasha Kilgore, Alcare Entertainment, the food truck, Big Buff, Barbecue, Bad Raps, Tennessee Democracy Network, Frederick Dog, foot long dogs, Charlie Bell with Cold Fusion, Kenneth Cafe, Bloom Network. Oh, it's just so many, y'all. Next week, I'm gonna have the full list, and we're gonna have it scrolling on the screen because I got to tell everybody. Reach the truth. Can't wait to see you get down. Community Arts Summit, you in the house. Chattanooga National Network, you in the house. Alton Park Development Corporation, you are in the house, y'all. We excited. Can't wait to see you on June the 14th. But for now, see you next week.